Lost Boys: The Thirst. This is the third in the Lost Boys trilogy, and yeah, I recently watched Lost Boys for the first time, so I'm kind of watching the sequels for the first time because I didn't really know anything about them going into them, and I really hated the second one, and this one I didn't like pretty much the same as the one previous to it, even though it's just slightly better. I think why this one's slightly better, if you watch the second one, the way that thing's shot and like the filter over the camera and the like color grading, all that shit was horrible and made the movie look really cheap and uglier than it was. And this movie is better shot than that. And that's about it. See, none of these movies feel like Lost Boys in the sense that Lost Boys part of the vibe is the music and Joel Schumacher's direction and that kind of stuff. None of that is here in these sequels. Second one especially, but this one doesn't have really any of it either. And it just leads to this being a very boring movie. The only thing I like about these sequels more than the first one is how much they earn that R rating in terms of the vampire violence. But at the same time, it's not good vampire violence, so it's not really that much of a compliment because you're like, okay, well, you did it. You didn't do it well, but you did it. And so it just leads to this really boring movie. What I do like about this movie is it has a tribute to the Corey brothers within the movie by the filmmaker and the director, and that was cool. The script here is just as terrible as it was in the sequel, the second one, because all the it's written by the same guy, so the script's just as bad. And so it just leads to this really unmemorable sequels. Like, it was kind of like when I watched these for the first time, I was like, why does nobody talk about the Lost Boys sequel? Why is that? Why don't people know about these movies? And you just watch them and you understand why. They're just utterly forgettable movies that aren't very interesting. They don't add things to the franchise. It is very strange because you probably could make really good Lost Boys sequels. You could make a Lost Boys remake and probably make it better than these movies. It's just very strange the choice that Warner Brothers went to make direct-to-video sequels with this property that just aren't very good. And they probably should just made a sequel while Joel Schumacher was alive, but they didn't bother to do that. And we are stuck with these, and I'm just not a big fan of them.